no one who cares about Xabi Alonso should worry about next year, because he is already signed. And you had mentioned this before. What information do you have? Tell us, man. Ricardo Ramos Neira, colleague and friend. How are you? It's been a long time since you came to this channel. About a month ago you had some somewhat strange days, but now you're perfectly recovered and as strong as ever. How are you, man?
Well. So we have been to the workshop, and they've done a bit of everything. They passed my vehicle inspection. They say I'm good, so therefore back to running again. You know how this goes. A pleasure to be here with you, with your community. We see each other 2 or 3 times a year. Well, hey, it was due, and it has to be.
Yes, because the other day, that little moment on Cope's, I think it was Paco Gonzalez, that you referred to later on Twitter, saying I said this before. I remember, because I was also listening to the COPE, and Paco Gonzalez said, no, a friend very much in the know writes to me saying, like, not to worry anyone who loves Xabi Alonso next year, that he's already signed. And you had mentioned this before. What information do you have? Tell us, man.
Well, I didn't say I mentioned it before. I said this confirms what we've been saying. No, coincidentally, 2 days before, I had made a video about that, right? Agreed. It's arranged. Yes. It's not signed, obviously. But, well, this goes back quite a while, doesn't it? So there's quite a smooth communication with Xabi Alonso. There was already an agreement last year. We talked about that, about surely Ramon Gesper, for example, has also mentioned it, and probably other people who know about it. An agreement.
Yes, they were talking. Yes, they were certainly
talking about, hey, look, any idea that both parties have anything that comes up, we'll talk, right? Because Madrid's intention was, in the future, it was clear that Xabi Alonso, in some way or another, sooner or later, yes, well, they were considering him to coach at Madrid, and what they did was that, right? Talk, right? When he talked about renewing, Madrid also said, hey, Ancelotti has won the league and champions, let's renew, and this fluent communication. And what makes me seriously consider this matter is that I am aware of a conversation by Florentino Perez already a few months ago with Xabi Alonso, where, well, he says, well, let's consider for next year for you to come, because, well, we believe that there is a cycle that has ended. There are meetings between Jose Angel Sanchez, Florentino, also Juni, but mostly Jose Angel and Florentino, and they decide that no matter what happens, they are going to change the coach, right? And they communicate this to Xabi Alonso, and from then on, well, once I find that out, it's clear to me, right? And in the last few weeks, well, it's confirmed, right? Why do I connect with that? Because I find out some information almost by chance that they are, I don't know if pressuring, but yes, well, yes, a little bit. Last month in Leverkusen, both Fernando Caro, who is the Spanish club's CEO, by the way, and Simon Rolfes, the sporting director. They want a serious commitment from Xabi for next year. You know that German clubs plan much earlier than here in Madrid until the month of May, although he works earlier, but no, he does not decide 100%. And then there's the matter of you remember the press conference? He's going to speak, he's going to announce this and that, and well, you know, one has their contacts and starts to investigate. I say, but what the heck is he going to say? What is he going to announce? If I have this information and I know where it comes from and how it is, the only thing he can say is that he's leaving. How is he going to say that he's leaving? It's impossible because it's leaving Ancelotti. But anyway, 2017 and investigating, they tell me, no. One moment, the one managing the issue here is Fernando Caro. He was the one leaking to the German press. He will surely speak. Last year, there was talk around these dates. We are with him. We are planning next season. He's going to stay. Applying pressure, right, to see if he would say anything. He didn't say anything, of course. And this continues on its way. And last week, well, I managed, to confirm that indeed what worries both Xabi and Madrid right now is, first, not to say anything, not to move anything. And Xabi also tries to leave there on good terms because he is, even though he is treated like a god there, he cares a lot about the club. He has 1 year left on his contract and there has been pressure for him to stay. So he wants to see how he argues it and how he manages to leave. No one is going to say anything and so on. Of course, he is going to stay, although now with recent events, they no longer deny it as much. But unless, as I mentioned in my information, this either jumps off the train or watches the train go by and doesn't catch it, which is very unusual because it's been coming for a long time. He is next year's coach.
Okay, fine. The thing is that the season is very strange because it ends in a Club World Cup in the middle of July. How are they going to solve that? Because, of course, from what you just told me, let's see, first, those who are listening to us, it all sounds and fits well to me. It's also true, I recently said before linking these terrible matches between the Liga and the Champions match, I said, well, it also fits for it to be in 2026. Because it's a strange summer with the Club World Cup. One contract ends in 2026, the other two. Lately, Florentino doesn't care much about football and says, well, look, hey, we have so many champions that it doesn't matter if we don't win two. In 2 consecutive years, I mean, for not winning 2 more. Madrid takes it easy there. That's what he saw at that moment.
I'll bet anything that if you tell Florentino the Champions League or the World Cup, forget about the Champions League, they want the World Cup, they're crazy.
Yes. But totally. Therefore, there will be people listening to us saying, they do not see Florentino guaranteeing at this moment that Ancelotti, no matter what happens, is leaving. But of course, it's just that we've known a very executive Florentino, very pragmatic, very much like that, you leave now. And then Madrid is a club that also moves based on whether titles are won or not. Imagine that with these performances we're putting on. Imagine that there's a comeback. Imagine that Barca is beaten in the Copa final. It's a lot to imagine, given how Madrid is playing. But it would fit us perfectly, or it would make sense if he said, come on, Ancelotti, 1 more year and that's it. So, of course, there are people who find this hard to believe, but I'm kind of on that. They've been talking to him for so long. And the change of cycle is so obvious that, okay, well, and I go back to what I was saying before. The Club World Cup, what summer? I mean, is Ancelotti staying? Is he going to be there? How is Xavi going to cope? And Leverkusen and Madrid without saying anything throughout the whole summer. That man will have to prepare the season with his new team, or they will need to know there that he is leaving. I mean, how is that secret kept? It's impossible.
No, keeping a secret, no. In fact, in Germany, they know perfectly well that everything is being done for him to leave. I don't know if it has been said clearly, but they're not stupid. However, what you say is absolutely right. I don't even know how they're going to handle the World Cup issue, because you put yourself in the scenario that hopefully it happens, that we win, come back, win the cup, all that. The league, you have to realize there are 8 matches left and they didn't close the chapter the other day. So you have to try to know. But what I have clear is, according to my information, no matter what happens, they have perfectly understood that the cycle is over. And then the icons are to bring him before the World Cup. Well, I don't know, but it makes sense to me that Xabi Alonso is going to say, no, listen to me, I will start the project myself. They are already talking about players, talking about things, because this comes up, it jumps about Zubimendi and all that comes from there. Be careful. There have been contacts with Jose Angel, but that doesn't mean it will happen. I have mentioned the contacts there are, but here we know that the one in charge is the boss, who says yes or no. Okay, well, that he is already planning in his head and talking with Madrid for next year, reinforcements, whatever, departures, this or that. Sure. Now, for example, for him to come and say, no, he's going to come for the World Cup, I doubt that a lot, because what coach is going to say, no, I'll go there and take over something that's not mine. Imagine I perform poorly at the World Cup and I start off with a failure. He won't want to do that, of course. So they will hold on to Ancelotti, or if things go really badly, we would go with the option we talked about a few months ago when things were so bad. So we would go with Solari or whatever. I don't know, or let David stay, I don't know.
And if they keep Ancelotti, they will have to hold on until the end of the World Cup.
For the year, you say?
No, in the event of keeping him until the end of the Club World Cup.
Yes.
That man is going to know there. What happens is that the relationship between Florentino and Ancelotti is very good.
Well, he already knows. Ancelotti already knows. There are contacts with Xabi Alonso. That's why he's so irritable sometimes in some press conferences. When they talk about his future and stuff, things we didn't see before. He already knows. He is
But
aware.
he also knows that if he turns this situation around and they win 2 of the 4 titles left, for example, I see it all as very complicated. But, well, he knows that Florentino is not the Florentino of many years ago and says, so let's postpone that decision and you fulfill your contract here, because the relationship between them is good and all.
So, very good. Yes?
Sure, no. That's why it's hard for me to picture what we will see in case he leaves, to inform him and say, hey, you finished the Club World Cup. The other one is going to come after the Club World Cup, that all of that is made public by Madrid. Because there will be a moment when it has to be done. Of course, by June, all this needs to be known. I mean, I find it hard to see how all those pieces will fit together, in case it goes through.
Or not. These ones might hold on. They might ask for a solution. Ancelotti is a clubman.
But the whistle will blow from there. But it will blow from Germany because they will say, hey, our coach is not going to be this man, of course.
Unless they say it. Well, if they say it. Ancelotti, I sincerely believe that what will happen is a conversation at some point, precisely because he gets along very well with both. He gets along very well with Florentino because they are friends, just as Florentino also gets along very well with Pintus, with both, and also with Jose Angel. Ancelotti is very good. I think that Ancelotti is not the problem. I think they will talk to him at some point. They will say at some point he will understand it in the club. They will have to sort out the remaining contract issue. I don't know how they will do it. Normally, those contracts already go, if you leave, generally, lately, it's not like before. They have to be paid in full. Normally, it's not like this. Normally, if they don't coach, half is paid. I don't know, but I don't think there will be much problem in arranging with Ancelotti and telling him, hey, don't worry, you're going to leave. It's going to end well. And I don't think Ancelotti will raise his voice, not at all. Now, regarding Germany, I don't know how things will unfold because also, I repeat, Fernando Caro, he has a calm demeanor and such, but knows how to apply pressure. I'm telling you, knows how to apply pressure. So maybe at some point he'll say, well, this man is not going to continue next year. That's where the problem lies. That's an unknown. We don't know what we'll do.
In May or June, that would have to be said. And even more so if things keep moving forward. Anyway. In fact, when Madrid finishes the Club World Cup, Leverkusen and a bunch of teams have already started their preseason before finishing the Club World Cup. Many teams, the majority, have started their preseason.
Well, let's see where it breaks. I don't know. Of course, we can make conjectures, but it's hard to know. I certainly don't have any information about that.
Hey, well, it's clear to us that indeed there have been conversations and that little by little there's more of that idea that the cycle is going to end. But still, as nothing is signed, you never know in this Madrid where so much depends on the titles. And well, speaking of that, do you see the comeback or not? As the days go by, are you getting a little more hopeful?
And well, it happens to all of us. Our more realistic side prevails, but at the beginning, but as you get closer, collective hysteria sets in. Today, you believe a little more. Tomorrow, after social media, which we are involved in this for our work, Juanito's video from I don't know where. Remember that we came back from a third I don't know what. And on Tuesday, the day before the match, we'll all be hanging from the lamp like crazy, thinking about what comeback we're going to make. Now, anyway, one roll, another I sell.
A result like that hasn't been turned around since Wolfsburg. Let's see, I mean, Madrid has had comebacks of all kinds, but in their matches. I mean, Real Madrid matches have a life of their own. Like, they're a different beast. I mean, really strange things, dude. They are very strange movies where you don't know how they're going to... Well, you know how they're going to end with Madrid making a comeback. But I mean, well, the comeback is against Paris Saint-Germain, so you arrive. You have to come back. But then you have to come back again because they score another goal. They score all 3 in 15 minutes. And 2 of them in 1 minute. From one play to another. The Chelsea one was the super comeback. I mean, in the end, they had to come back against you, they do. then you come back. Well, all that we've experienced. But a score where you say this score needs to be turned around, which is more than one goal and such. That was against Wolfsburg, and it was only 2-0. Careful, the same number of goals had to be scored to, well, in that case win, and in this case at least draw and take it to extra time. And we had Cristiano Ronaldo, who was a psychopath at this.
It's difficult, very difficult, because of course you have to tie and then something else.
I do not doubt that Real Madrid will score 3 goals.
Come on, if Madrid isn't capable of scoring 3 goals against anyone, then no one is. The problem is not letting them score against you. Do you understand? But I don't know, each of us has or will experience as we get closer and idealize a match in your head. No, I'm fine with scoring a goal in the first half, going into halftime 1-0. If Madrid goes into halftime 1-0, I tell you, these English are trembling for sure, because what they are going to think is very difficult. Be careful, it's very difficult. You see, a team from Arteta can be, because he's a very special guy, but generally you go 0 to halftime. And intrinsically, that feeling of let's defend a little, they would still have to score 2 against us. Unconsciously, you defend Arteta because he is the way he is. He is capable of saying, no, if they make a comeback, let them make a comeback. But we attack, we are going to score.
Saliba said it, we are going to attack. On one hand, that's good because leaving gaps at the back, let's see. Madrid is a collective disaster. And Arteta's Arsenal is the complete opposite. However, I like the attitude of that team because good things can come from it. It would be worse if I knew it was going to be a team that parks the bus because Madrid struggles to break down defenses. Now, if you send your players to run and you have 2 of the fastest in the world there, well,
let's think about one thing too. It's clear. See, that's it. We start talking like this, and it's impossible not to find positive things. Let's see. It's true that they were better than us and such. Well, it's normal for them to be better at home. Are they going to score 2 more stunners from free kicks? Maybe, because after all, they are 2 tremendous goals with Uruguay and the barriers and all. But let's not forget that they are 2 goals from direct free kicks.
That it was the first time in his life he did them.
Besides, it's not very normal for that to repeat. So at the Bernabeu, it's assumed that things will even out. And Madrid, let no one forget that even playing poorly and all, had 2 very clear chances there to score, very clear. It's assumed that at the Bernabeu, that can happen. And if Madrid goes ahead, this thing that Saliba says, and what would they say about Guardiola City? Who would have thought that everyone comes here with all the intention in the world, but if things click here, everyone shakes.
Totally. And even if Real Madrid is as bad as it can be. Indeed, if there's a goal and that can happen, I mean, imagine that they are the ones who regain control of the match. Well, it wasn't quite like that in the first half in London that the Madrid fans.
Real Madrid held on there.
But of course, it can't be Real Madrid and go out with a tactic of holding out in the first half and then have the coach tell you to hold. You can't just hold, you have to go to win. But, well, imagine they are there and so on. And, I mean, trying to sink Madrid. It's a counter, you make it 1-0. It's what you say, no matter how bad Madrid is doing, it's the Bernabeu. It's that madhouse, it's the memory, like Carvajal said. When they asked him what Madrid has like, this is something spiritual, mystical and such, and he said he doesn't know if it is, but the rivals think it is. When you look the rivals in the face, they believe there is some kind of magic there that we don't know, but they do. So, of course, it's something that spreads, and, well, that's the issue. So, well, yes, you have to believe a little.
In what field do you see that you need 2 goals to come back and they add 6 minutes of discount as if they had just scored a goal in Madrid? The team from the other side says they're all crazy. Where did they come from? That's the age-old mystique. And it happens. Moreover, I can't remember now who said it was a player, not one of the current ones, who said they needed 2 or 3 goals, and you scored the first. And that terror, indeed, on the rival's face. And besides that, they already knew they were going to lose. There were still 2 goals left. we already know we are going to lose. And it's like that. And a lot of teams have fallen. The Madrid of La Quinta, which played wonderfully, goodbye, played wonderfully, and yet in European competitions, it was a disaster.
He crashed. Lo que in paz descanse, Leo Ben Hacker, who passed away yesterday, was a protagonist of that Madrid of the Quinta.
Yes, Sarah, then incredible comebacks here, taking them to overtime. So Madrid shouldn't think, just go out to play and give their best. That's it. And they have to score a goal. Many people say they scored 10 minutes. They can score better, but it is not so strictly necessary. No, I want one goal, 1-0. I am happy with 0 at halftime. And then we will see, because then the others have 45 minutes. If they have a lot of time, they have time to think about what we do today. We continue the same, nothing happens, we move forward. But if you score a goal against them and you go to the break with 1-0, it says we have 45 minutes. We have to resolve it in a shorter time frame. Hey, we are not that far from the end of the match. And whether you like it or not, psychologically, the team goes ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. And here, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. In the end, we finish the video with the scarf.
Exactly, because, well, this is, and we're about to finish. This is for another video. The more sports-related topic. More about, because you said it. Madrid has to come out to play and such and such. 1,000. Yes, but there are a series of problems here, man, that you don't solve overnight. That's why I don't believe. That's why I say that even if there is a comeback and so on, you have to tell Ancelotti, thank you very much, and there you have the door. Because the embarrassment of being the ones who run the least out of the 8 teams in the quarterfinals in these first leg matches, the disarray at all levels and in all lines. Hey kid, it's just very difficult. Very difficult. It's very difficult to hold on to something now. I went back in time, and today I was watching videos of when Madrid lost in Paris with a goal from Mbappé, playing against Paris Saint-Germain, and then made that insane comeback at the Bernabeu. This Madrid plays nothing. It played very badly. Didn't we get past midfield?
That is, it was 1,000 times worse than David's game. 1,000 times it was a disgrace.
Of course, because there were both parts, logically, and not just one part. So, well, you say, I mean, we've been in worse situations, but that Madrid wasn't doing as badly as this one. That Madrid had a very good first few months. It was leading the league back then. So, in terms of the game executed, yes. But in terms of the trajectory, no.
And haven't we scored more than 2 goals in several matches this year?
Of course, that's the issue.
Very minor rivals.
And so on, against teams of your same kind that are looking for the same thing. Let's see, we will be on your channel soon. We will be on your channel soon before that match precisely, and we will continue commenting there. I send you a big hug, Ricardo, man. Take good care of yourself.
Same to you, to your family, and to all the subscribers. Big hug.
Of course. And let people subscribe and like this video if they enjoyed it. Bye.
Of course.